What's going on, Fortnite fan? The brand new season is here, and with that comes a ton of changes for competitive, including a new drop spot, new duos, new weapons, and a brand new meta, potentially. There's lots to talk about since the FNCS Summit land, so let's get right into the mix. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the live event, but let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I personally enjoyed it, and with that came a brand new map. Almost feels like a brand new chapter with new POIs and some remix done as well. We're going to talk a little bit about those POIs and what pro teams will be landing there. And first on our list is going to be Peterbot and Poyo landing over at Sinister Strip. While no POI seems as OP as some of the other ones we had in the past, most of them do have their own aspects. This one here, you do have that blob in the middle and that prison mini game. It does start off locked. You just follow that cable down underneath all the way to the end where you turn on the power. You go back and the door will be unlockable. You do get gold and some chances at mythic loot as well, so make sure you guys pick it up in your games if you guys are landing there. On NA West, it does look like Z-Link will be landing there, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out on both regions. It does seem like it's going to be uncontested for now, but we do know how things change. Next on our list, and this is my personal favorite, is the Battlewood. This is where we're going to have the actual battle of Agers and Ritual versus Higgs and Curve. As of now, it does seem like Agers and Ritual have the better of their number, beating them more times than not only off spawn, but making it better into some of these games, especially in scrims. And you can kind of see an east side building here that the chest spawn rate is much higher. And that's where Agers and Ritual are looking to land most of those games. It has a ton of chests, and you have a big chance of getting basically a full loadout, and on the other side, who knows what they can get. They might have to loot up a little bit more, and you might be able to chase them down or at least play aggressive out of the gate. So Battlewood, that's going to be a big fight this season, especially if both teams look to contest this spot. Next up on our list is going to be Frosted Flats. Again, another contested fight, but this time it's two teams that already got their global championship spot secured. It's Cooper and Reek going against Acorn and Bolts. So this one is going to kind of be one of those fights where Cooper and Reek, Acorn and Bolts both have nothing to lose. We've seen Cooper and Reek play contested and qualify for the global championship at the Summit land. Acorn and Bolts were uncontested. So I don't think they're necessarily scared to leave. I'm not sure if Acorn and Bolts are as well. So if neither one of these teams leave, we're going to be in for a treat all season long. Another team landing over there is going to be Phoenix and Retro at the Frosted Flats. They look like they're going to be uncontested as of now. On NA West, things can still change though. Phoenix and Retro are EWC qualified on NA West, but they have yet to qualify for the Global Championship through the Battle Royal and FNCS, so that could be their key to success this season. Lifty Lodge though, Clicks and Veno, and a bunch of other teams on a few different regions actually choosing to have that be their drop spot for Clicks and Veno, though it does look like it's going to be uncontested. I do like how it has mountains, so if zones pull in that direction, it's like it could be a for sure victory royale or top placing game. So if you have multiple top zones in a single tournament, that can lead you to first place overall. Another uncontested drop is Calamari Canyon, where King and Craze global championship qualified. That's one that's well deserved. Craze, I think to start the year, has been playing actually pretty impressive no matter who was actually his duo. Now he's locked in with King, and now I kind of want to see them qualify for EWC this time around when it does go into the Reload Elite Series qualifiers. But when it comes to BR, they do got a uncontested spot with nothing to lose, because again, qualified for the Global Championship. And another uncontested team, another team that's qualified for both of those lands is going to be Shadow and Virgo. That's going to be at Heat Wave Harbor. This is where you do have a chance to get the mythic striker pumped shotgun. You do play the duck mini game. All you got to do is activate the duck and follow them along their journey, their race, so to say. And on the other end, you do get a chance at that mythic pump. It does around 230 plus damage, so one of the few weapons in the game that does one pump back in the game, like the Iron Mythic of last season. This is going to be in Shadow in Virgo's hands. And on A West, it does look like it might go over to Ark and Lacey. Yes, you guys heard that right. Ark and Lacey are looking to test their luck on NA West. Lacey did pay him like $40,000 or something, a bunch of hosts, a spot in the core house. This is a sweet deal for Ark, and I do believe they could qualify for a grand finals in NA West. After that, that's where I start to place my question marks. They haven't really been playing that long together. Remember, Arc didn't get to play the last FNCS major, so he did miss out on a lot. He is still one of the best players on the region, but playing with Lacey, who hasn't really played the game in too long, he does not have a ton of time to get it together. So I'm actually interested to see how this one goes overall. Another return, though, was Stable Ronaldo. I'm not sure who he's playing with overall. I don't know. He played with, I think, Lays, which is somebody that he is familiar with, and I don't know how you guys watching this video might be familiar with him, but he is out there with some earnings as well. Not sure how they're going to do. I think, obviously, Arc and Lacey are going to do better than them, unless they swap teammates or something happens that I don't know about. But again, even for Arc and Lacey, that one is going to be hard. Last up on our list is going to be Wonky Land. The changes for this one is mainly the mini game. It doesn't come with as many mats, but you still got a chance to get good loot. The Ferris wheel still works, but again, it's not going to work the same because you don't have the Fizz in this meta. But this one is going to go to Josh and Iyamzo on NA Central. And this is a team that I want to see continue to perform well. They didn't necessarily get a drop spot. They were comfortable at the Summit LAN, which kind of led them to a poor placing. So they still got to qualify for the Global Championship. So there's still a ton to fight for. Other notable teams, though, just forming for this season are going to be teams like Queasy and Scare. Yes, you heard that right. One of the best players in Fortnite history in EU coming on over to NA, giving Scare a chance. I put out a tweet saying I would like to see Queasy and actually Victor V play together, because Victor V and Kanata are no longer together. Kanata kind of playing with Sphinx, even though in the Div Cup, Victor V and Sphinx are playing together while Kanata is away. So that's going to be interesting, because if Sphinx and Victor V play well, I can imagine them staying together. I just want to see Victor V play with somebody good. Another notable team, Booga is back. He's actually playing with Braids. Yes, Visual and Braids. A heartbreaking story. No longer together, so they split up. That leaves for Booga and them to play together. Muzz and Visuals. So yes, the other half did lock in a top duo. Muzz is actually playing with him. They're actually playing well for the most part going into the divisional cups. By the time this one was live, we did watch day one already, which some of these new teams are performing well at these drop spots, whether contested or uncontested. So again, I think we have a fire season on our hands when it comes to both NA West and NA Central. Obviously, EU is going to be a movie as always. You still have Sky and Skull performing well, locking in one of those top drop spots. But let me know what you guys think about this new map this season and some of the new duos and where they're dropping. I want to hear everything in the comments. Let's quickly chat about the loot pool and what is the meta this season. Well, for the most part, the meta is going to be the same. In terms of mobility, you do have those boots, but they're not necessarily as strong as these shockwaves. You can still carry 6 shockwaves. Both your duos can use it, and it is a team mobility item versus the boots kind of using yourself. You can make some interesting plays with those boots, but overall, in competitive, it's still going to be the shockwave meta. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, though, without the Fizz mist, so you're not going to be able to get that far toss, so you might have to run through your shockwaves a little bit more. Again, another reason to be carrying these shockwaves. But in terms of mobility and the meta, it's going to be a little bit of the same, just a little bit more punishing than in that last season. When the season first came out, though, in terms of ARs, it was the Exploder AR. This one was wreaking havoc on the lobbies, but then it got nerf after nerf after nerf, and now you don't really see this too much in competitive lobbies. You may see it in some cases in terms of solos, but in terms of the duos game mode, builds, FNCS, you will not see it as much. It's the burst rifle that you will see a lot of because of the way Storm Surge works and hit scan. The Chaos Exploder rifle at a certain distance does have the projectile weapons, while the burst does have the hit scan. You're going to be wanting to get Surge, and then on top of that, it's the SMGs. You do have the Flex, which is kind of an SMG and an AR pseudo, but you more than likely will be carrying the Stinger because the high rate of fire, you will be able to bleed some shots through. Maybe you have a combination of an AR and the Stinger because of the medium ammo with the small ammo, but overall, the Burst and the Stinger are going to be your top 2. Maybe you could throw a Flex in there for Surge, drop it later in the game, but in terms of your loadout, that is going to be the AR/SMGs you're going to be carrying. And then in terms of the shotgun, oh, I hate to break the news to you. If you didn't already heard, the Chaos Reloader is still in the game, and the Iron Pump is out. The striker pump is back in the game, and they did give it a little bit of a buff since it brought back in. It's a faster equip time. You do have the mythic gold rarities that do have a chance to get that one pump off if you do have it in your hands, and it does kind of feel pretty nice to play with. But the chaos reloader is still very, very unforgiving. The max damage for the most part with the body shot, so you can see a combination of these. The Maven is back, and a new shotgun as well, but in terms of those two, you're not really going to want to carry them when you have the striker and the chaos reloader in the loot pool. So you're going to have an AR/SMG, more than likely the burst or the stinger, and then you're going to have the chaos or the striker, some shockwaves, and then you're going to be having some chug jugs or big pots, maybe chug jugs, some med kits, something like that. When the season first came out, there was abundance of chug jugs because there was a little bit of a bug where sometimes they were free and they were cheap as 750 gold, but now with the changes, no longer free, and they're about 1250 or maybe even 1,000 gold. Don't, you know, beat me down if the number isn't correct, but that is going to be the heals for the most part. And you can find everything in vending machines as well, not only the heals, but you have a chance to find shockwaves and those boots if those aren't in there. So again, if you do land at one of these POIs, maybe the legendary POIs where you get a lot of gold, you do have a chance to basically get a full loadout if you're able to hit some of these vending machines in the game. Let me know what weapons you guys are carrying exactly, what mythics you guys are choosing to grab. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe, because that's going to do it for today's video. Already lapped your guys' ears off, and I want to make sure to leave room to see you guys on the next one.